Pregame.com.
Hi everybody, welcome to Pregame.tv. He's Bryan Leonard, I'm Scott Spreitzer, and we're talking about Thursday night Eastern Conference playoff basketball as the Miami Heat travel to take on the Indiana Pacers. And I'm going to tell you what, Bryan, let's get the injuries out of the way right away. As of late Wednesday afternoon, as we preview this game, Granger and West both listed as probable for the Pacers. And on the other side, you've got a Udonis Haslem who's currently listed as questionable. You know, Bryan, I didn't get involved with the total on Tuesday night, but I saw two different games. With about 3 minutes to go in the first half, you had a game that looked like it was going to land right around the posted number. It was on par to hit 180, which was the posted number, 41-38, 3 minutes to go. Granger comes down, rolls his ankle on a jump shot from three-point land, and doesn't return for the rest of the first half. Comes back, plays a couple minutes in the second half, but was not the same, and that was it. West gets injured at the end of three, the whole thing. But as soon as Granger left the game, the entire flow of the game completely changed and Miami steamed.
Yes, the Indiana coaching staff actually came out and said without Granger, who matches up very good with LeBron, they really sets them back. And that's one of the questions you have to ask about this game. We talked about being probable. How probable are they? And if they do play, how are they able to get around? I mean, if you don't have your legs and you're playing Miami and chasing down the big, powerful twosome they have, it's going to be real tough for Indiana defensively, and that's my only concern in this game.
Sure. And one of the things I'm looking at is, you know, I thought Indiana was playing the best team basketball a couple of games ago of all the Eastern Conference teams that remain. In fact, they were third in the NBA to me behind San Antonio and Oklahoma City as far as playing solid team basketball, knowing what they wanted to do. I had Miami in the Game 4 matchup in Indiana, and Indiana looked in control for most of the game. They should have won the game. I got to tell you right now, I should not have won that game with Miami. Here's what was happening. They know what they got to do. They got to get the ball inside to Hibbert on offense, and they've got to get West active in and around the paint. And if you do that against Miami, who doesn't have Chris Bosh right now, and you play good team basketball and you're healthy, you're going to beat a team like Miami more often than not, I think, if you're as good as Indiana. The bottom line is, though, is now for chunks of game time in the last two games, they have forgotten to go inside. We saw when Granger left the game, they were rudderless. They panicked, and Larry Bird's right, they were soft.
Yeah, Hibbert was invisible in that game, and you take a look at the way Miami's been playing. Indiana's been right there for the most part, and you talked about the ebbs and the flows of the games regarding the totals and the sides. It's a situation you always have to take advantage of, and that's one of the big advantages of in-game betting. Cantor casinos here in Vegas right now, you can play just about every game over there, and that's really something you have to look for. There's a lot of other ways to skin the cat, and that's a good way to do it.
Exactly, and you know, I'm going to tell you this. Here's the bottom line. They've got to stick to their game plan. You know, West and Granger need to be healthy, obviously, at least 90%. But they've got to stick to their game plan and get Hibbert involved on the offensive end. If they do that, it changes the flow of what Miami can do because they're going to have to wait for that development to happen on Indiana's offensive end. They can't just grab the ball and break out on fast breaks. It'll change the complexion of the game. What Miami has to do is continue to drive the paint, try to get Hibbert into foul trouble. Great stat the other night during the game shows how poorly Indiana plays when Hibbert has 5 fouls or fouls out in the ball game, and it's night and day difference. So that's what they got to do. LeBron continue to drive. At the same time, Indiana's got to work it around, get the ball inside. I didn't get involved with the total the other night, Game 5. I'm going with the under in Game 6. It's 182 right now as we speak. There is the one caveat, and that is that there have been 234 personal fouls called in 5 games and 4 flagrants. I don't know if you're going to see any flagrants. I think the teams might get a little bit more intense on doing things right, but it does scare me a little bit when Larry Bird comes out and says my team's playing soft, that they might get a little chippy if they're down in this game.
Yeah, at this point I don't have anything in this game, but if Indiana's back and they're healthy, I think we got some advantage in the line. The first 2 games played in Indianapolis, 1.5 and 2, and now it's currently at 3.5, and you're coming off of Miami, who just shot the lights out, played the perfect game last time. So a little bit of contrarian play right there on Indiana, but everybody has to be back and healthy.
And my biggest advice for this game is check out on Thursday before you make your play to make sure who's going to play and who's not between West, Granger, and Haslem. I'm going with the under. Bryan has a value lean towards the Indiana Pacers. Hey, stick around. The two of us are going to be right back here on Friday. We're going to be talking American League East baseball right here at Pregame.tv.